Okay, hey Bob. Good to see you. It's Always Bookin Comedy. Welcome everybody. This is oh, we got a little bit of an echo maybe. Check, check. No, we're fine. All right. This is every Monday night. This is pre-taped, this episode. How are you doing today, Bob?
I'm doing great, Mark. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Awesome. We just wrapped up the Mountain Fresh Comedy Festival. I got some artifacts over. We got Adam Caden Holland over there, poster. We got Jenny Zagrino, postcard. Are you back in Wisconsin now, or are you still on the road?
I was home, and now I'm in St. Louis for work, for real work. You know, the one that pays the bills.
Yeah, sure. Chris Sear is in St. Louis.
Yes, yes.
Another Mountain Fresh Comedy Festival comedian. If anybody's curious what Mountain Fresh Comedy Festival is, mfcomedy.com. It's a cleaner material comedy festival. Bob, let's hear from Bob. Bob was one of the comedians on the festival. What do you think?
It was a great experience. It was my first comedy festival experience. So, a couple of takeaways. The crowds were awesome. Really great venues, really people that were excited to see comedians go up there and entertain them. That's number one. So all good crowds.
Awesome.
The comedians were great people to network with, to hang out with. So it was a really great experience. So I enjoyed it. I hope all the future festivals that I can get into are as good as this one. They were really good. And then for someone like me who's just starting out, it's good to have crowds to perform in front of 3 nights in a row. I don't always get that at home, so that's good.
Sure. Yeah. It sounds like you're a people person. Your first two things were basically people. The people in the audience were great. The people on stage were great. We like people in Milwaukee.
If you're with good people, you can kind of get through anything, right?
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful place. We were in 3 towns this year, 2025. We did Eagle. No. We did Gypsum, Colorado on Thursday night. We did on Friday. Oh, we should go back and talk about Wednesday night in a little bit. But on Friday night, we did, where were we Friday? Frisco, Colorado. Yep. And Saturday night, we did Georgetown, Colorado. Right. Great towns. We had great comics. We had great headliners. We had Adam Caden Holland. We had Zach Ciappelloni. We had Jenny Zagrino. And then we had other comedians. We had Chris Sear, Bob Coakley, Big Jake Hovis, Min Lin, Vinny Serum. I think that's everybody.
That's it. Yeah.
It was a good crew. It was a lot of fun. We did a good job this year getting the headliners to speak with the comedians after each show. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. Did you go? You went to the movie screening, right, on Wednesday?
Did. Yes.
Yeah. Tell me
I was a little unsure about seeing a movie about anxiety. I wasn't anxious, but
sure.
It was great. I texted my kids and my wife and said, "You guys need to go download this and watch it." My wife accuses me of not understanding anxiety. I grew up in a different generation. We just work things out. My kids don't have that. My kids have anxiety, and I'm always accused of not understanding like why they just can't get over it. So it was really enlightening for me.
That's great as a parent.
Yeah. Yes, as a parent. Cool. Yes,
that's great. I'm sure Wendy would love to hear that. Wendy Lobel directed this fantastic film called Anxiety Club. It's a 2025 feature-length documentary. It has Mark Maron, Mark Norman, Joe List, Tiffany Jenkins, Eva Victor, Baron Vaughn. I'm probably forgetting a comedian or two. It's got some pretty big names in it, and it's beautifully done. It's wonderful. You can rent it yourself for only $5 at jolt.film, jolt.film. Throw them some money. Pay $10. Pay $20 if you can afford it. Do you know if your family has watched it yet?
I don't know, but when we're all together, I will actually watch it with them. Yeah.
Okay.
100%. And my brother, who was with me, at the end of the trip, he's like, I didn't expect to get that much out of that film on Wednesday. It was very helpful for him. So very impactful. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, we had like 50, 60 people there. We gave away a lot of free tickets. There was a great nonprofit organization there called Building Hope, Summit County. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
It was really a neat event. I'll tell you my story with that. First off, logistically kind of a hassle. I got this 14-foot wide movie screen and I bought for the Vail Comedy Festival, and I've been trying to find ways to use it more. So I was excited to use it again. I got this fancy projector, and so it's kind of a lot going on in the AV thing. It wasn't like we rolled out a VHS recorder and a 9-inch television. We turned this brewery into a legit movie theater for a night. And my plan, because I was busy with the festival, was I brought my laptop. I had just seen the movie 4 months previous, and I was going to go into a different room and work on my laptop for an hour and a half. And then I started watching the movie, and 5 minutes in, I found a chair and I sat down, and 90 minutes later, the whole movie had gone by, and I was really engaged and interested, and I got more out of it, I think, the second viewing than I did the first. It was really something. We had a cool. Go ahead.
Your experience as a producer came through because you MacGyvered that projector stand.
Well, I got to say
that this thing was 7 feet in the air to get the right perspective ratio. It was
I got to shout out. There's a local in Frisco who I think he's from Cleveland, Ohio, but he's retired now, and he ran an AV company for a long time. And once I was struggling with some speakers before a show, and he helped me figure it out. And he's been like a guardian angel ever since. And he helped me, gave me advice when I was buying that equipment for the Vail Comedy Festival. And then when I was coming to Frisco, he's like, oh, I'll help you out. So he was the one who actually MacGyvered. He took 2 tables, stacked them on top of each other, got some ratchet straps to make it secure, and then put the projector up on top. Might have been higher than 7 feet. I'm guessing closer to 10 feet.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. And boy, did the picture look awesome.
It was great.
It looked really good. Did you catch the short film we showed before?
The short was great. My son's into filmmaking. I was going to show that to him as well.
Nice.
That was really well done.
Yeah. It's called, you can find it on YouTube, everybody. It's called When Spikeball Bros Attack. It's by Harris Alterman, super funny comedian, lives in New York City, grew up in Eagle, Colorado. Every once in a while, somebody at a show in Gypsum or Eagle or Vail will say that this little kid used to babysit me, and I heard he became a comedian. He's out in New York City. Have you ever heard of Harris Alterman?
Nice.
Yeah, I know Harris. So good guy, and pretty neat too that you probably don't know this, but most of the actors in that short, there's probably 10 or 15 people in it. Probably 12 of them are Denver-based comedians.
Oh, nice.
So everything from John Novosad, who's been doing comedy for 40 years.
Wow.
To Sammy Anzer, who just this week is moving to New York City, moving to Queens from Denver. Sal Mazzacchi, who already moved to New York City but was in Denver for a little bit. All kinds of great names there. Jeff Cohn was the I don't want to spoil anything, but you guys can check it out on YouTube. It was really fun. That was something new we did this year that kept it interesting. So let's talk about the I'm struggling to come up with a name for this. Maybe you can help me. Somebody gave me an idea the other day, but it's basically the mentorship that happened after the shows. What would you call that?
More of a round table.
Headliner round table. That's nice. Yeah. The idea was that I organized it so that the part of the headliners kind of contracted obligation was to talk to the rest of the comedians, answer questions, give advice, etc. And the way it worked, I didn't need the contract. All 3 of them were terrific and friendly, and would have done it anyways. But so what do you remember? Let's start with Adam.
Adam was amazing, right? Night. I mean, I didn't know Adam before this event. I had seen him on a billing in Milwaukee, but didn't get to the show. He was amazing. He spent 2.5 hours with us. It's like we were just hanging out on someone's patio, and he was not only welcoming with his feedback and his ideas, but if you think back, he actually brought the group together as a group because he elicited everybody to share their stories.
Yeah.
And so, right off the bat, our festival group became a group instead of a bunch of individuals. So I thought he did an amazing job. We got to know each other. Really, really insightful. And all of us want to be him one day, right? So you have someone who you all want to hopefully get near that level, and he's sharing with you some of the steps that he took along the way. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And
then
Zach was amazing. Zach was even more eager to share, some of the challenges he's had. He's closer to us than Adam was in experience. Sure. And so maybe it was a little more relatable, but offered all of us help and encouragement. And Jenny was the same way, very much offering their experience, their insights, and you took different pieces from all of them, right?
Yeah. So is there anything over the rest of this year or maybe going into next year in your comedy journey that you remember specifically that maybe somebody watching this could benefit from?
I think it was more, it was an acknowledgement that we all have a warped sense of where we are, and almost to embrace that. Like, that's almost your superpower in a way. Like, you don't know how good or bad you are. And you just got to, use this delusional thought that you're really good to help get you on stage, to help get you the time to hopefully become really good one day. But, that's kind of where we are, right?
Yeah.
Not all of us, not you, but like some of us in that room, we're like, yeah, we're not as good as we think we are. But if we were honest with ourselves, we would have quit.
I wrote a whole book called Not Good Yet. So yes, I'm in the same crew.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah. No, I've read the book actually. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I'm one of the 5, I think. Yeah.
Awesome. Roasted. Nice. Terrific. Well, I've definitely sold more than 5. I don't know how many people have read it, but it's occupying bookshelves around America somehow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I thought it was so interesting. I thought Jenny had some interesting things to say about the importance of social media.
Yeah.
And how comedy has changed. She's been around for a long time, and Adam, like you said, it wasn't necessarily relatable, but the takeaway from Adam was, get a TV show. You can star in a TV show. That's the best way to break into Los Angeles comedy.
Yeah.
Go out, film for 3 seasons, and have somebody else pay for everything.
And he did say the best way to do LA is with your own TV show, so you could own the town. Don't try and go there and be a waiter, right? So
yeah, absolutely. And and Zach gave a lot of specific advice about moving up the ladder at the Comedy Store out in Hollywood, in Los Angeles. So yeah, there were takeaways from everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What did you learn maybe that I don't know from one of the other comedians on the bill that wasn't a headliner? I know you guys were hanging out, spending time together, and
we're all at different stages of life and comedy, right? I'm 55. Yeah. I've been doing this for almost 2 years. I have different goals and the ability to put different effort in than, say, Vinny, who's been at this for a while, and he's more committed than I am. I don't mean to downgrade myself, but he's definitely deeper into this. And I think Min was somewhere in between the two of us,
Sure.
I think the 3 of us, there was some kinship as to maybe closer in experience. Chris was a little bit beyond us from experience, and he's already getting headlining gigs, and he's opening up, and he's definitely has a much broader network than the other 3 of us did. So,
sure.
Just more mutual hang in there sort of, feedback, right?
Yeah. Did you guys trade any ideas for festivals to apply to? Did you talk about other festivals at all?
Well, I found out that Min was actually in a festival in Denver right before ours, and she won the Best of Fest,
I didn't know that. How humble of her. She did not mention that to me.
I know. Yeah.
Incredible.
She was an amazing person. Very, very nice. She helped you quite a bit with the check-ins and all that stuff. And I think she has her and I are at the similar stage of life in comedy, and I think we have different life perspectives, and it appeals to maybe an older, more specific audience, and Vinny has a broader, more, younger perspective on things. So Min and I spent a little bit of time comparing notes and thoughts and, coaching each other. She gave me some feedback and thoughts and things like that. So that was good.
That's awesome. That's cool. Min Lin from Seattle, Washington.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, let's talk. So you come home from the festival and you got to go back out to work immediately. But what are some of your next, did the festival change your perspective on attacking comedy?
It gave me more confidence. I'm new at this. I haven't done a ton of shows. And so I'm a little bit behind the 8 ball in that I don't get repetitive opportunities like maybe some normal comics. So I haven't even been on stage since we were out there, traveling last week for work, this week for work. I'll be, I've calculated maybe next Monday I'll get to an open mic, and I'm not sure of when the next show will be. And that was part of what prompted me to ask you about advice on how to start your own show. Like,
let's talk about, I will talk your face off. Ask me questions. I'm an open book. My philosophy is if I can help anybody make a comedy show a little bit better, a rising tide lifts all ships. Because those customers that come to your show may somehow eventually come to one of my shows, or in the worst case scenario, they go to a show and they get turned off from comedy and they never go to another live stand-up comedy show for the rest of their life. Right. And that's the worst case situation. So we want every show to be good, or as good as it can be. And for the customers to want to tell their friends, hey, I had a blast going to see a live stand-up comedy event.
So my question really is, conceptually, the Milwaukee market has 2 comedy clubs. They do a good job of bringing in national touring people. The comedy showcases or shows I've been on tend to be more local and no one that's known, right? And no one that has a ton of credits. If they do, they're very local, very regional. Mm-hmm. Your approach seems to be different, where you're bringing in people with bigger credits. And interested to find out, did you start with the smaller regional guys and then you like, well, I need to bring in someone who can bring a broader audience? Like, if I'm starting to try this out and try to organize my own show, what's your advice? Start with the little guys and just keep it little, or have that, person with credits and a draw, so to speak?
Yeah, I'd say if anybody's not familiar with the shows I run, they are very unusual on a national scale. It's very unusual for an indie show producer, a non-comedy club owner, to fly in an act of any kind. And the ones I get happen to have, some Comedy Central credits, or, have multiple comedy albums, maybe a Tonight Show appearance, something like that. Usually, like, my wheelhouse is like 1 to 2 Tonight Show appearances, maybe a regular at the Comedy Cellar, because I have a pretty, I would say like 80% of the comics I fly in are from New York City. I have kind of a bias, I guess you'd say. The New York City comics are just super funny, and they're really good. But it wasn't always that way. I started much smaller. In fact, I started with free shows and just had like a small bar budget. And I would say what probably drives all of this is basically money. It's the budget, which is what the venue is giving you, maybe ticket sales, if you're selling tickets. And I've said this before probably, but I look at show running a lot like sports gambling. You put a bunch of money in, you have no idea what the outcome is going to be. And at the end, you're either, laying in a pile of money, or you're crying because, the money didn't come through that you were hoping for. So you gotta take some risks. And that's probably an advantage for somebody in your situation, a little older, has a good day job. You can take that financial risk. Right. So I would encourage you to do that. It's kind of a build it and they will come philosophy. Right. And you can weather some storms. Like in the beginning, my shows weren't always consistently selling well. And you kind of build up momentum and a name brand, and you get some, I mean, you live and die in indie comedy. You live and die by repeat customers.
Right.
So, and they're not going to be everybody, 25% of your audience is going to be a return customer. And that makes such a difference. Because let's say you're trying to fill a 100-seater. So you got 25 people baked in that are going to be there. That means the show's not going to be awful. If you can seat the 25 people well in a 100-seater and nobody else shows up, it's not going to be amazing, but it's going to be fine. There's a critical mass there. And then if you can sell 15 more tickets, you're up to 40. If you can sell 30 more tickets, you're across the halfway mark to filling that room.
Yeah.
So I think the hardest thing is finding a venue.
Yeah.
So and you're good at talking to people. It's really just legwork. You got to email and phone call and go in person and convince somebody somewhere to let you run a comedy show. And I get kind of like I have like a disease now. I can't go into a public space and not immediately guess how many chairs there are and how difficult it would be to move the tables and where I would put the stage. And is there a power outlet over there where I would put the light? I case every room I walk into.
Nice.
To see if a comedy show could fit there. So yeah, find a venue. And then from there, move forward. And so here's another thing that could be helpful to you.
Yeah.
Next time you see Adam Kate and Holland coming to Milwaukee, find out, let's say he's doing a Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
Find out if he'd be willing to do a Thursday or a Sunday.
Right.
Probably. So my shows are about 100 miles, give or take, from Denver proper.
Right.
So I will often see that a headliner is coming to Denver, Colorado Springs, or Fort Collins that I know that I'm friends with. And I'll be like, hey, do you want X dollars to do Y shows?
Right.
And I know the comedy clubs don't care because it's far enough away that sometimes the contracts have non-compete radiuses or radii.
Sure.
There's a distance to, and sometimes there's a time length, within 3 months, within 90 miles, you cannot do a show where you're billed. Sometimes you can do a secret headliner show, and that might be something Adam would do then it's harder to sell tickets.
Yeah.
And so that's, as you make, that's another thing that gets easier. It's all momentum based. Yeah. Now that I've booked, I don't know, 100 to 400 shows. Yeah. I know a lot of headliners at this point. And to the point where people will reach out to me out of the blue. They'll be like, hey, so-and-so from the Comedy Cellar told me you run shows in Colorado. This happened about 1.5 years ago. I had somebody who had a corporate gig in Aspen, and then on a Friday night, and a show in Denver on a Sunday night. And they asked me if I could set up a show on a Saturday. And we actually did it in Frisco at a different venue than you did. And we sold it out, and it was great for them. It was great for me. It was great for the community. But in the beginning, you can't rely on that. Yeah. But it should be part of your long-term plan. Any pain in the beginning, it's going to get easier as you go on. So I would short answer, might as well start with regional, unless somebody big falls into your lap. Sure.
And it seemed like you picked underserved markets, places where comedy wasn't available all the time, and there's a latent desire, let's go out and laugh. And if you had done all this in Denver, it'd be, I don't know if it's called a saturated market, but it's a busy market. Where you picked, was that purposeful or
huge? Yeah. Well, I got a funny story about that. I, like many people, when I wanted to start running a comedy show, it was because I wanted stage time. Exactly. Yes, I wanted to get other people stage time and help the community laugh, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is I wanted to get on stage. Nobody was putting me on stage. And frankly, at the time, I didn't deserve to be put on stage. But if you run your own show, you get the benefit of being able to make the lineup, and you can host and get some good experience. So I had it in my head that I was going to start a show. And I said, well, let me go to some shows and see how they are. And I went to a show that had Derek Stroop, who is now a regular. Have you heard of him? Cool.
Oh yeah, I
He's
love
the
Derek.
best.
Yeah, I
He
mean, I've never
rules.
met him, but I watch him all the time online and on.
Yeah,
YouTube,
he's now left Denver for New York City. He's a regular
Yeah.
at the Comedy Cellar, tours with Nate Bargatze.
Yeah.
Been on the Tonight Show twice now.
Yeah.
And so Derek Stroop was on the lineup. Mike Stanley, who's more like a regional headliner, but he headlines Comedy Works. There might have been, I'm blanking on a third kind of national headliner, and then there were maybe three more, comics who are way above me in the Denver comedy scene. So you have 6 comics on this show. Incredible lineup. There are 4 people in the audience.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, what? This is terrible. And I saw this like all over Denver. It was really rough. There were a lot of shows like this. And I was like, you know what? Maybe Denver isn't the place to start a show because there's just too much to do.
Right.
There's, and I run shows occasionally in Denver, and it's the hardest market. I really dislike running shows in Denver. It's so difficult to get people out. Some people have figured it out. I'm not saying it's impossible to run a show in a major metro area, but then I was like, I'd been a ski bum up in Vail a long time previously. And so I was like, well, maybe I'll run a show up in Vail. And so I started calling some places, and I found a brewery just outside of Vail in a town called Eagle Vale. And the very first show, 75 people showed up.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, this rules. This is great. So now yes, you hit the nail on the head. You go to an underserved market. It's a hassle. You gotta transport people, transport equipment farther away. There is the benefit of not competing with the big clubs once you get into maybe booking some of these headliners on off nights.
Right.
But I will also say that what you saw may have been a little bit like the parable of the duck, that you see is cool, calm, and collected above the surface, but paddling like hell underneath. A lot of work went into filling those rooms.
Well, in Georgetown, you were working hard. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, and during the show, I was working very hard.
I'm saying yes. And by the way, that Georgetown show, it felt like a party, and we were just invited to do comedy there. What a great group of people!
It was really fun.
Yeah. And then you kept them all lubricated, and I think you even sold some drinks from the stage while you were doing your set, which is amazing.
Never stop working. Georgetown was where I did my first ever EDDM campaign. That's everyday mail, I think. Everyday delivery mail, something like that. They're the junk postcards that a lot of people are familiar with. And I did them for the comedy show. You can see them behind me. I paid a boatload of money to get 500 of those printed. And in tiny little Georgetown, population 1,100, they have 815 people on their mail route. And they brought 500 postcards to almost everybody in town. And I figured that was a good market for it. I don't think that would work well in Denver, but in a small town, some people just aren't online. They're not watching Instagram ads. So you got to do what you can to get the people out. And that was a successful show. But I've had unsuccessful shows in all 3 towns that you went to where not enough people showed up. But it is definitely a cheat code of sorts to get off the beaten path.
Are you doing them quarterly? You doing them twice a year? You must have figured out the right cadence for each market. It's probably different.
That's interesting. I for a long time ran them monthly and kind of centered in Vail. So in the Vail area, like last year, for example, 2024, let's say, I ran 75 shows but 12 times, every month of the year, I would go up and I'd basically do a Wednesday, Thursday, sometimes Friday, Saturday, for sure Sunday show, because sometimes the headliners would have a Friday, Saturday elsewhere. And we would go around to different towns and do shows in different areas.
Nice.
So, but this year I was focused a little more on my own touring and traveling, and I kind of scaled back a little bit. And I was worried about the economy. And I've just learned the hard way that summer it's tough to sell tickets, especially in Colorado. I think
Milwaukee too. When people put their jackets on, comedy rules. When they can take their jacket off, you're going to lose the audience to something that's more fun.
So I kind of took the summer off from show running. I had some corporate things and some nice money like people basically paid me to put on comedy shows, which was terrific.
Nice.
I didn't have to sell tickets. I just had to like book the talent, in some cases, bring the equipment. And they took care of the audience. So it's pretty low stress on my end.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. So I would say that's, it varies, but I will say that consistency really helps. If you're in a town that can support a monthly show, having a show every month really helps, because eventually the audience will get used to you running comedy shows. And at some point they'll be like, man, I really want to laugh soon. And then I'll go look at your website or whatever and be like, oh, cool, there's a show in 2 weeks. I'm going to buy tickets.
Nice.
But if somebody goes and looks at the website or Googles and can't find any shows, then they lose the muscle memory going to the comedy shows. So I really think the regular cadence, even if it is quarterly, really helps.
Nice.
You gotta keep returning. My best markets are the ones that I'm at regularly.
Gotcha.
And I have the most friction just spinning up a random show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've been listening to Mark and Jake Try to Make It.
Oh yeah. Let's shout that out. My new podcast.
Great. Yeah. And one of the topics that just came up, I haven't finished the current podcast, is do Facebook and online ads actually matter? Do they work?
Yeah. I don't know. I spend a lot of money on them. I think they do work. I do think it's important to have a handle on how you're moving tickets. And you can get that information in a lot of ways. You can have conversations at the door. You can ask from stage even. And it can be electronically if you're organized enough. Like you can ask every ticket purchaser, how did you hear about the show? Was it the online calendar
or something? Yeah.
Was it a billboard? Was it a postcard? Was it a poster that somebody hung? Was it somebody out in the street barking? Was it word of mouth? Was it, I'm a previous attendee? Did you hear from a comedian who posted it online? There's a lot of ways that people can hear about these things. And is it a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad? What I've been finding recently is that my Instagram ads aren't driving ticket sales as much as my Facebook ads are. And that might just be because I'm serving an older audience.
Yeah.
If you look at the pictures of my shows, they're not, the average age is closer to 50 than it is 25, which might be more common in a big city. And I think Facebook just skews older and Instagram skews younger. But there's this old marketing adage that people need to see things 7 times in 7 different ways before they make a decision. So sometimes when somebody says they bought the ticket because of a Facebook ad, they also did hear about it word of mouth, read a newspaper article about it, saw it in a calendar, and saw a poster. So it's like it's a big combination of things.
Yeah, that might have been the last one they saw, but yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, so I don't have a definitive answer about do social ads work. I think it's better than nothing.
Right.
I don't think it's 100% lighting money on fire, but sometimes it does. I have gotten in panic mode before and like way overspent at the last minute on ads, and that is kind of throwing away money.
Yeah,
I believe, but who knows? Yeah. So Mark and Jake Try to Make It is my new podcast. You can watch it on YouTube. You can get it anywhere you listen to podcasts. We have a Patreon as well. We record. We share all kinds of gossipy secrets and stuff. It's only $5 a month. Patreon.com/Mark and Jake, MARK and Jake. Yeah. All right. We got to start winding this down. You got one more show running question?
It probably will take more than a minute, but just entry level equipment. I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
You have some nice equipment. I'm sure you did. Maybe you did start with that. But
no, I didn't. I definitely didn't. Like take my light, for example. That's like a 5th generation light. And the timer, 4th generation timer. Yeah. Microphone's been the same always. Shure SM85. They're about $100, a little bit less. Just get a great microphone from the beginning. It will last forever. They're indestructible. I mean, they will get dented at the top if people aren't nice to them, but I have several of them. They've never been hurt. Get a good XLR cable. I get the Amazon Basics ones. Eventually you can get a cheap PA system from Guitar Center for like $200. and it will work. Eventually I like Bose stuff. There's all kinds of things out there. And I'm not above getting used equipment. I mean, this stuff that's made for professional use has a very long lifetime. So if you're trying to save some money, find a comic who's quitting, who used to run shows, or a comic who's upgrading their equipment. Like if you get back out to Denver again and you have a car, I have a warehouse full of old equipment I don't use anymore.
All right, there you go.
Lights, speakers. Anybody listening to this, by the way, if you want equipment, I'm not going to give it away, but I'll give you a fire sale deal on it, because I want people to run good shows and have good stuff. But yeah, lighting is more important than you think.
Yes.
And an unheralded benefit of good lighting is how good the video looks. Yeah. If you, especially for Caucasians, if you have the ability to make the light warmer instead of cold, so not blue, but more like yellowish orange, amber is the industry term. I prefer 3200 Kelvin for anybody who's paying attention to this stuff. It makes the video look amazing. You look really good, even with a crappy camera. Like, it's like you can really tell a difference. And sometimes if you film yourself at an open mic and the lighting's really bad, like you can see the video just doesn't come out very well. So that's a nice thing you can do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a mega spotlight you've got there. I don't know. Offline, I'll have to get the specs on that from you. But
well, I can tell it's a Godox, Godox. I've finally gotten up to that level, and that's where I get all my lights. And that one is a 300 watt. I call it a shotgun light. I don't know that that's the technical term, but basically it means it fills the whole wall instead of making a circle, like a spotlight circle. And I do have an attachment to make a spotlight circle, and I sometimes do that. An interesting thing, at the Gypsum show, I made a packing error, and I meant to bring the spotlight attachment because I always use the spotlight in Gypsum. And I forgot, I brought a second spotlight instead of the attachment. They're in these big cases, and it'd been a while, and I was in a rush, and I was kind of frustrated with myself. But then I used the shotgun and filled up the whole wall, and I actually prefer it now. I'm going to do that in the future. I can bring less equipment, and it looked great. Yeah. Anyways, and you can call me anytime, Bob. And really anybody out there, people all the way to Australia, people have emailed me because of posts I've made on Reddit, and I've helped them buy things to run shows. So if anybody's listening to this, watching this, and wants some advice, I have a contact form at markmasters.co. Just tell me where you are geographically, because I'm always going to ask that in a follow-up. So I'll just save a step. And what you're trying to do, what the room looks like. People will send me pictures of the rooms they're trying to set up in. And I started with my very first light, and then we'll close this down, was a Pringles can with a light bulb inside of it.
Wow.
that I MacGyvered a thing to, because I had no money at the time.
Was your microphone a soup can with a string?
I didn't actually, at that time, I didn't have the Shure SM58 mics yet. I just had whatever crappy mic came with a Guitar Center PA system.
Nice.
So I've definitely worked my way up to better equipment, but you can start just having anything, even like a Home Depot painter's light is better than nothing.
Sure.
Just definitely have some kind of good stage lighting, good sound. If you have a big enough showroom, I should stop. But if you have a big enough showroom, have audio in the back. That's very helpful, because otherwise people will get chatty back there. But yeah, if you have,
you had that. I noticed that at the Georgetown show.
Yeah, exactly. And I pointed it and cranked it up when those people started talking.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, Bob. This is awesome. Thanks everybody for tuning in. This was a pre-taped episode, so you couldn't ask questions, but every Monday night we're live, generally, maybe a couple times a year. I've got some reason why I can't do it live, and that's why we do a couple pre-taped episodes. But please get on in the future and ask questions. You can ask questions as well during the tapings of these. And there's a huge back catalog. Check them out, and check out my other podcasts, Mark and Jake Try to Make It. And Bob, if people want to see you in Milwaukee, is there a way to track you down, your comedy persona?
Not yet.
Google Bob Coakley.
There you go.
Coakley.
Perfect. Yes.
Coming to a city near you.
Yeah,
for
you're
business
getting it
purposes.
on the ground floor.
Yes, exactly. All right, stick around for a second, Bob. Thanks everybody for tuning in.